What's up, everybody? My name is Lee Shaner, and you're tuned into You Feel Me. When you leave here, you go back to New York?
Go back to New York. Go back to New York tonight. Yeah.
Is that where you're staying or no?
For now, I go back to China on the 11th.
Back to China. So
on the 11th, yeah.
Is that where you're living permanently now?
Yeah, I'm in Chengdu permanently as of last July.
Uh-huh.
Before that, I did 7.5 years in New York.
7.5 years in New York.
Yeah.
And so now you're back in China, like essentially permanently.
Essentially, like temporarily, permanently. Yeah. But I come back. I mean, I moved back last July, so it hasn't been a year yet.
Yeah.
I've already been back here 3 times.
How come?
I want to keep this Mr. Overseas thing going.
Yeah.
But I just like, I love living in China for different reasons than here. I still think the music is made at a better level here.
Yeah.
Better quality here. And I want to keep both sides going. And my visa only lets me stay for like 90 days at a time anyway.
So there's no, you don't have dual citizenship?
Nah, China's like, you're either Chinese or
no shit.
You're not us. Yeah.
So, but you're born in China, yeah?
Born in China. Moved here when I was 11.
Yeah. So you were born a Chinese citizen.
Yeah.
Came to America, became an American citizen.
Yeah.
And now there's no going back. Can't be a Chinese citizen?
Yeah. Even if there is a going back, I think there's just the accessibility with the American passport.
Oh, okay.
Is undeniable.
It's just easier to get around.
Yeah, like bottom line, it's easier to get around.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Were you born in Chengdu?
No, I was born in Hubei. It's like close to Chengdu.
What's Hubei like?
Hubei was mad rural. We didn't have no indoor plumbing.
No way.
Yeah. We still had like slaughterhouses, down the block. What
are they slaughtering? Pigs?
Pigs, chicken, fucking no cows.
You guys farmers? Your family's farmers or what?
Not entirely, but we did. My grandparents did grow some of the basic stuff like tomatoes, like potatoes, like bok choys. Like that. But that's different now. Hubei is different now. I had gone back earlier this year actually, and it's just different. It's like running. Everything's caught up.
It's like a city now.
Caught up. Yeah.
They got street lights.
They got street lights. Like the buildings I grew up in, like completely gone. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in like there's the lot where I had my building had 2 other buildings. Now it's like one gigantic building. It's kind of cool. It's like I was like mad, like sad. Oh man, I can't post like my childhood home to the gram now.
Right.
But like it was dope to see like big things moving.
Right. You're like, oh, my outhouse is gone.
Yeah, exactly. No, we had an outhouse.
Yeah,
and kids used to push each other in the outhouse.
No. Did you ever get pushed in the outhouse?
Nah, not me.
Did you push people in the outhouse?
Nah, not me.
Okay, all right.
Yo, but that was crazy. Like seeing people come out covered in shit. You're like 9 years old. You're like, don't know what. That's like so fucked up.
That's gotta scar somebody for life.
Definitely.
That's terrible. Yeah, my grandmother grew up with like an outhouse, and they used to call it the Pishkadoo. She's Italian, and she's like,
what is it called?
The Pishkadoo.
The Pishkadoo.
Yeah, and so like. I don't know, man. It's like that. Having to grow up in an outhouse, I think, affects your bathroom habits the rest of your life.
Oh yeah. I mean, like to be honest, now when I go back to China, because China has a lot of squatters. Yeah. You got to squat and you get close to the ground. I'm not used to that no more. I like my toilets, man.
Right.
I'll spend like 5 minutes wiping it down. But I still prefer that than squatting.
Yeah, for real. So now that you're back in Chengdu, what's Chengdu like?
So Chengdu food is incredible.
Really?
Even people in China, they say like, oh yeah, Chengdu has the best food.
Area?
That's the food.
Yeah.
A lot of spicy shit.
What are American misconceptions about Chinese food? Because I've heard that the American version of Chinese food is kind of like not the real Chinese food.
Well, the thing is like, the real stuff is becoming really popular now.
Yeah.
But before what is the yellow banner, probably like Good Luck restaurant or something, some real like generic Chinese stuff. You think about like people think like, oh, the restaurants in the hood, that's like all chain, the Kung Pao chickens, the
General Tso's.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they probably cutting up the rats in the back alley for the fried rice. Like I don't know, maybe they are. That's for real though,
Yeah.
But so that's what the American food was like the longest time. Just because there was no education about it,
right.
But I think with food shows becoming more popular, like rest in peace Bourdain, but he had hit Chengdu twice, like in his episodes. And so right now everywhere you see hot pot, you see hop popping up. You see like Sichuan this, Sichuan that, and that's all, really pretty authentic Chinese food. But how well they do it is the problem.
Right.
Like the dishes all look the same as the ones you get in China, but the taste is just not there.
Right. Yeah. And it's like the more you eat those things that look the same, the more you're able to differentiate. Like, oh, that spot
for sure.
Those dumplings are the dumplings.
I mean, like I had 4 of my homies from Brooklyn coming back to China with me on tour. We did like 7 cities.
Yeah.
And they came back to New York, and it was over. I ruined Chinese food for them.
No
shit.
Shit.
They were like, "Yo, everything just don't taste the same,"
Right.
And then like we started going to restaurants, and they would tell them to make stuff more spicy than it actually is. That's where jala came from. Like I would tell the manager, "Yo, jala, I just make it hotter."
Extra spice.
So as a joke, that song kind of came alive.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's how the best songs come about.
It's true.
They're inside
you have
jokes.
fun with it, and
inside
there it is.
Yeah, for real. So growing up in Hubei, is that how you say it? Hubei, my bad.
Yeah, no, good.
Growing up in Hubei, it sounds like a rural, humble beginnings. Beautiful though.
Yeah.
Scenic landscapes and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you're 11 years old and you get uprooted to New York?
Yeah. No, I go to Newton, Massachusetts.
Newton, Massachusetts. Well, first tell me a little bit about growing up in Hubei. What would you guys do for fun? Besides pushing each other in the shitter.
Yeah. Yo, this is one game. All right, one game I remember. So it's like, I mean, this is not because we're like poor. It's just like, because we're kids too.
You just find a way to make a game out of anything.
Yeah. But like there was like these big ass leaves. We had these trees, and the leaves would fall, and then when the leaves dry up, the leaves like just kind of crumple off. But then that stem in the middle is like super strong for whatever reason. And so at first it's like, all right, we just we kind of make a cross and then we pull and see who snaps.
Breaks first.
But then I don't know who figured it out, like that if you take the stem, the middle part, and you rub it on a rock so that like the inside, all those little veins show, it becomes stronger.
No way.
Because it gets wet, and like for example, a towel, you wet it and it becomes strong. And like motherfuckers were like, yo, you would put your whole body into that and
it wouldn't break.
Yeah. So that was something I remember, like
they
really
figured out how to cheat the system, basically.
That was crazy. I mean, like that was something I remember distinctly. And then a lot of marbles. We shot each other a lot with BB guns.
I did that. That's like a rural thing, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, but like a lot though. Like,
would you guys wear like coveralls? Or?
No. I remember this kid used to bully me. But he would like not. He would bully me, but like not seriously. He'll like come around and smack me on the head or something. Yeah, right. But if anyone else tried to fuck with me, like he'll fuck him up.
So he's like big brothering you, kind of.
Yeah, but he like I don't know why he just kept bullying me. But one time we were playing this game and I had shot him from afar, and I got him like fair and clean. And he got so mad, he came over, he put that shit like right on my face and then shot me like
point blank.
Did
it go in your skin?
I think it broke skin.
Them shits hurt.
I think it broke skin, but these shits, they couldn't have been that powerful.
Yeah. We used to play BB gun fights too, and but we would put on coveralls and like goggles.
So when I came to America, y'all's BB gun is way more serious. You guys have the copper pellets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, the ones we had in China were like pretty like hollow plastic joints.
Yeah.
No, the copper joints. If you had done that, like. That would have been.
Oh yeah, I mean like BB guns here, you can like hunt small animals.
Exactly.
With them. Yeah. So we had to like cover the eyes and everything, or else.
But like pretty much like. Besides that, just like
normal kid
shit. Yeah, really.
Go ahead.
One thing that was really different about China is there was internet cafes everywhere. Like you go and you pay one Chinese kwai and you get to be on surf the internet for an hour. And everybody was playing like Counter-Strike and like Diablo and shit like that. So I did a little bit of that.
Yeah, but was there internet at home?
No, we didn't have a computer. We still don't in Hubei.
TV?
Actually. TV? Yeah. TV.
Okay. You had cell phones back then?
No.
No.
Yeah, getting a cell phone was super fun when I got to the States. Yeah.
How was schooling different as a kid in China than when you got to Massachusetts?
So even as like elementary school kids, we had to be at school by 7 a.m.
Yeah, right.
And we had just a fuck ton of class, and we didn't get off school until like 5 p.m.
7 to 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we had an hour and a half lunch break for lunch, and that because everybody went home and ate. There's no cafeteria, there's no none of that. So everyone just went home and ate.
And then when school hours are that long, are you doing homework as well?
Oh yeah. Wow. I mean, the thing is like, okay, so another cool thing is in between classes we had 10 minutes break, which I realized after I came here, there was only just like 5 minutes for you to go, between classes. But so the crazy thing is I left right after elementary school. Once you start going to middle school, bro, it's 7 until 9, and then you have 7 until 9 in the morning, right? Then you have a little break, and then you go from 10 until 5, and you have a little break, and then you go from 7 until 9 at night. Again.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So that's like middle school, high school standard shit, And then your summer vacations like from middle of July to the end of August. So it's like a month, like,
Yeah, very short.
Yeah, I mean the schooling discipline in Asia period is, I mean, there's no comparison.
Right. It's competitive among students as well.
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, like, I think China has the highest college suicide rate.
Oh, wow.
College suicide rate, because a lot of people were single, only child.
Yeah.
And like, there's so much pressure to like do well, go to a good college, like extend your family's lineage.
Right.
Like a lot of people, they don't get into college, they don't even go home. They straight up just go and jump over the roof. Like,
were you born in that time when families were only allowed to have one kid?
Yeah.
So you're only child?
I'm only child.
What did your parents do when you were born? Like, what were their careers or jobs, whatever?
So my pops, when my mom was pregnant,
and
he like found out, he just took off. So he was gone.
No way.
Yeah. So he was a musician. He was kind of like fucking girls.
He did it to you.
He did it to me.
Yeah. It's in your blood.
But so he was gone, and my mom, she was working at the bank at the time. It's like a teller. Yeah. And so she dropped me off with my grandparents in Hubei.
And so they raised you.
They raised me. Okay. And then so my mom was working elsewhere, sending check home.
Yeah.
And then when I was like 9, her like college friend had got a job over here in the States, and it was like, yo, do you want to come like help me as an assistant? And she came, and I eventually came over. And
so how was that for you being raised? Oh, would you see your mom a lot?
I would see her like New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
I probably lived with her for like a year when my grandma was getting like eye surgery. But I didn't live with her that much growing up.
How was that being raised by your grandfolks and then going to live with her? Did it feel like I'm in this stranger's place? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, like, my grandparents are like my mom and dad.
Yeah, right.
And I knew my mom's role, but it was, and I never had like pity. I never like felt like sad that my mom wasn't around, because she always called. I knew she was sending money, you know. And I loved living with my grandparents, you know. So coming here definitely was tough, because my grandmother actually got sick and then passed away like within 6 months of me coming here.
Oh man, sorry.
So I was like pissed at my mom. I was like, yo, I should have been there, you know. So I was always like, well, you weren't around. Now you think you know what's best for me, bringing me to America. Like, I don't have any friends here. I don't speak the language. So the first couple years was tough.
Yeah, you were like, kind of resentful.
And that resentment carried on for a bit until I really got older.
And so were you like rebellious when you got here then, getting in trouble?
No. I mean, like, I didn't even have the means to be rebellious, because I didn't speak the language. I kind of just like, were not happy, you know, like just, which was like worse than being rebellious, you know. It's just like, oh damn, like he's actually not happy.
Just depressed, yeah.
So she was like, you know what? Go back to China for the summer. If you like it there, stay there.
Really?
So this is after like spending a year in the States. I went back for the summer. In Newton. I went back for a summer. I was like, whoa, I like America better, you know?
Really?
Yeah, because like, yo, I mean, like, growing up in Hubei, like, beers was cheaper than Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola was imported, you know? So, and there's no drinking age in China. So when I got to Newton, which CNN Money has rated Newton, Massachusetts, like the second best place to raise your kid in the country, you know, like, and there's a huge Asian population, there's a huge Jewish population, you know, Harvard, MIT, everything's over there, you know. So my stepfather at the time, before 9/11, he had like a personal limousine company where he was driving businessmen from like Logan to JFK and then back, you know, stuff like that. And so after 9/11 came and his company crashed, but he still kept like one limo. So he picked me up from the airport in a limousine. I had never been in a personal car ever. I've been in cabs. I've been in like buses, trains. My first time being in a personal car was a limousine, you know.
Yeah.
Showed up at the house. Well, on the way from the airport to the house, I puked so many times because I've never been driven in the backseat like that. I'm getting car sick.
Yeah.
In like a matter of 25-minute drive, you know. Get home, and it's a cheese pizza. You know, I've never had cheese, never had pizza.
You never
I
had
ate
cheese
the whole
before?
thing to myself.
Oh.
It was like the best thing I ever had, you know. Like,
Yeah.
And just having access to things. Made me.
That was when you first landed in Newton, or is that after the summer?
No, that was when I first.
That was your
landed
first.
in
Okay,
yeah.
so your instant impression of America was like, oh, America's lit.
That's fucking lit.
And then
Yeah.
afterwards, when you realize like, oh, I don't speak the language and this, that, and the other, that's when it's like reality sets in of like, oh, it's an uphill battle.
Well, no, I didn't realize how lit America was until I went back to China.
Okay, so this was after.
Yeah, like that whole time was the whole thing was happening, and I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, this is dope. You know,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. You know, I'm just like, oh, this is happening right now. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't turned 11 yet. I was like 10.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then this big white dude, I've never seen a white person in my life. You know, welcomes me into his house. You know, I'm hanging out with my mom for the first time in forever. You know, like,
Yeah.
so it's a lot of process, and like, you know, I have my own bedroom. Like, here's a table, here's a closet. You know, all these things. Like, and if I didn't have like the Hubei experience, I wouldn't have appreciated all that.
Right,
you know?
right.
But so yeah, then I went back to Hubei, and I was like, whoa, like, okay, yeah, I'm out. You know, I'm going back to America.
Missed that cheese pizza.
Oh my god, just and like, I don't know if I was starting to like girls yet, but I just remember like, damn, like white girls are pretty as hell. You know, like, yeah, you know, for real
right.
though.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, so.
So, how did your mom and stepdad meet? Like she moved over and then they meet, and that's when you get brought over?
So he was he had grew up in Boston when he was younger before he went to Alaska. And,
Oh yeah,
you know, all
shout
that.
out Alaska.
Shout out Alaska, man, for real. And he had a house, but he wasn't able to pay all of the money.
Yeah.
And the house was his cousin, so he was renting the house, but he was like the acting landlord and renting rooms out to tenants.
Okay.
But he didn't trust white people. He's like, I only rent room to Asian people because Asian people stick to their business. They don't ask you to hang out. They don't want to use your shit. You know what I mean? They're like, they do it. So he only rented it to Asian people. And my mom had gone to the States in 2000 and saw his ad in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And he knew, and she was looking at Newton because Newton has a high Asian population.
Yeah.
So she moves in, and he's like, you know, loves her and like shows up at her work every day, picks her up, bring her flowers, takes her to go get like Asian
in the limo?
food
He picked her up
limo.
oh,
exactly.
Man.
Yeah, you know, like, and she wasn't into all of that at all, you know, but she was like, you know, time goes by. And he pursued her for like 2.5 years, you know, while still living in the same roof, you know, like that's a lot of interactions.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
And she was like, okay, well, I have a son and he's coming. If you're okay with that, then we can, you know, see if we can build something.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And
that's like a romantic comedy, bro.
Yeah, for real. And I was supposed to come in 2001, but then like 9/11 happened.
Right.
And 2002, I tried coming. I got my visa declined. And in 2003, I came.
It finally worked.
Yeah, so I first came on a visiting visa with my mom, but then they got married while I was here.
So, you know, I have another podcast where I talk to a lot of musicians, and one of the ongoing themes in it is that bad dads lead to great art.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, this is an ongoing theme with rappers, man, is that, like, absentee fathers. And so, have you ever run back into your real dad?
Well, yeah, I have. I mean, the thing is, like, so I came here when I was 10, turning 11, and even though, like, my pops wasn't around, but Paul, like, my stepfather.
Became that.
Yeah, he became that, and, like, I wouldn't really say I never had like a male role model.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had plenty of positive male role models because you had your grandfather, you had your stepdad.
But I feel you on that, though. I think like
there's something about that void that a biological father leaves, and
I think the trauma.
Yeah, they do it to all of us. You know.
Yeah.
So have you've never met him again or no?
No, I did.
Oh yeah, how was it?
So apparently I met him when I was 5.
Yeah.
Because my mom had brought me to see him perform at a show and was like, I brought you there in case like you grew up and was like, you know, you complained that I never had you meet your dad, you know. So I don't remember that 5. I don't remember at 5. Apparently I had met him when I was 9, signing my visa, and I don't remember that.
Right.
And then I had met him again when I was 22.
And how was that?
That was kind of weird because I thought I was going back to China, and he had opened up. He was co-running this nightclub with his friend, and he was like, "Yo," he had hit my mom up. I was like, "Yeah, I heard Bohan is doing his music thing. If you want to come perform, you know." I was like, "I'm not going to fucking perform at his shit, you know what I mean? He's not paying me, like none of that, like." And then like I forgot. Whether it's my mom or my aunt just talking to me and just like, "Yo, like, hey man, you know he's getting old. He's got diabetes, like." For your own good, like trust me, maybe in the future you're gonna hate yourself not doing this. So I went.
That's solid advice.
Solid advice for sure. I went and and like at first I was like, all right, I'm not gonna call him pops, obviously not, you know. I'm not gonna joke around with dude. It's like, you know, see what's up, you know. But dude looks just like me.
I was gonna say, as soon as you see him, I'm like, you probably it was like looking in a mirror, huh?
Oh man, like he's wearing boots, you know, he's wearing the same shit as me. Like I'm like, okay, whatever.
Was it emotional?
At first it wasn't.
Yeah.
At first I was like really just like
trying to be standoffish.
Yeah, you know, and I was doing a good job. So what happened was when I was performing, he had like he had this whole thing set up. I didn't know. But it was like father and son, like 13-year like reunion, like on the big screen, you know, like, and my face is up there, and like he's having people bring flowers up, and he comes and he's like singing the song, like, and like
one of his songs or what?
Yeah, one of his songs, you know, like yeah. So I choked up a little bit,
yeah, of course,
you know?
man.
And my mom and my aunt was in the audience, and they got up and left in the middle of all of that.
They got mad?
They got super mad. Wow. And afterwards, like I found them, they're like, yeah, like it's crazy to see your stepfather like brought you to fruitation, and like this dude just took it all. You know, so he's on stage hugging you and like calling you son and all that. And you're calling him dad and all that. And like I totally understood, you know, because like yeah, I had never like had an argument with dude, but I had fought so many times with my stepfather who was there. You know what I mean? So it was hard for them to see. But I was like, yo, you guys talked me into this. You know, like I didn't want this. You know what I'm saying? But so we had met that time, and then when I went back to tour China, he like invited himself to like every show.
No way.
He like bought hella merch and all that.
So he's trying as an adult to like get back into your life and stuff.
He's trying. And you know, I'm pretty open with my life and my music. And so like actually he hit me a month ago. It's like, yo, I got cancer. I got lung cancer.
No.
Yeah. So that was really, it was interesting because I wasn't as devastated as like, you know, as if he was my real dad.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, damn, like I'm sorry to hear that.
It's really hard to process things like that, even with your own biological father. Right. 'Cause, like I didn't have a great relationship with my dad when I found out that he was getting sick a while ago. It took me years to like really process how I actually felt about it. You know what I'm saying? And so it might take you a while, and but eventually it's probably gonna hit you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm gonna go back. When I go back, I'm gonna go see him. You know,
man, I'm sorry to hear that. That shit sucks.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sucks. But again, like you know, if that was my stepfather, I'd be way more devastated.
Yeah, instantly.
You know? Instantly.
Yeah, right.
So it's like interesting. Like it's like sometimes blood isn't really that close.
Right. It's about the community that raises you, the people that raise you, you know?
Right.
That's family. So are your folks still living so you're in Boston or
so
like Newton.
Yeah.
When do you guys move to New York?
So after high school, I got rejected from UMass, from every state school except fucking my Reach school, which is NYU.
Yeah.
So I got into NYU, and I was like, well, I like music anyways, so I'm gonna go. So I moved to New York when I was 17.
Oh, okay. And so your folks stayed in Newton.
My mom and stepfather stayed in Newton, and my dad is still in China.
Okay, yeah. So you go to NYU and you're studying music there.
No, I'm studying econ, and I like failed all the math classes. I had to switch into communications because I was a huge J. Cole fan at the time.
Yeah.
I had worn like Rap with J. Cole or Die Trying t-shirt to go to his album signing.
That you like made or what?
That I wrote with a Sharpie myself because I knew he did the produce for Jay-Z or Die Trying shirt when he ran up to Jay.
What did he say when he saw that?
He was like, yo, I see what you did. Blah, blah, blah. Like in the waiting in line, I had freestyle to, you know, the camera because he was making those like any given Sunday like vlogs, you know. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I'm for sure in the next week's vlog. Like I just kicked such a long ass verse, you know. I wasn't in there, and I was fucking disappointed.
You're right.
So yeah, then I switched to communications because I was like, oh, J. Cole learned communications in St. John's.
Yeah.
So, yeah, NYU is why I ended up in New York. But that was like, I bitch about my loans, my debt I have all the time. But if it wasn't NYU, like I wouldn't have met the people I needed to meet.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you like New York as compared to Newton?
Amazing.
Yeah. Where'd you stay? Where's NYU? It's in the city, right?
Yeah, it's right in Washington Square.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I didn't know I was a city kid until I got to New York. You know, like, I just felt like a new person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was able to be a new person, like away from my mom, away from my stepfather, and own this music shit. You know, like freshman year, I was up at Apollo in Harlem, like, you know, rapping at Apollo, like amateur nights, competitions.
Really?
And shit. Yeah. You know?
Did you get pulled off with the cane?
Nah,
really?
Never got booed off.
You got to rub the.
I got to rub the wood.
Woo.
The Sandman never came.
Yeah.
And they invited me back for the BET special.
Wow.
Like I got to rap in front of Gladys Knight, like Dougie Fresh, Michael Bivins.
Hell yeah.
You know, everyone bigging me up. It was just like mad humble.
Yeah.
Mad humble. Yeah.
Were you already
cool.
working on music in Newton before you went to NY?
So I was, man. I was actually found this picture on my internet on my laptop. It was dated July. Can I show you this picture?
Sure. We'll edit this part so it sounds like you just had it on deck.
Yeah. And yeah, basically I was making music already, and I was in a gospel choir in high school.
Oh yeah.
So I sang a lot of Kirk Franklin, and that was the first time I had rapped on stage. My gospel choir was like, "Yo, you're not that good of a singer," but
he was mad
bars.
Chill. But you got bars.
Well, I didn't have bars at the time. It's like, but I hear that you like to rap, you know. So if every show we do for school, you write a verse or two about God, about love, we'll back you, and I'll let you join the choir.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So that was like, without that, I don't think I would have had the balls to go to New York and do open mics and shit like that, you know. But because I had that exposure, Shout out Reed, Mr. Reed.
Shout out Mr. Reed. But yeah, that starts giving you your stage chops where you're comfortable in front of a crowd.
Yeah, and I had long hair. I had because I played lacrosse. You know, I love physical sports. So I had long hair, and I was like in the suit and tie, a gospel choir, long hair, Chinese kid rapping about God. And I was like, it's kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
yeah.
That's not how I would have guessed the start would come.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's still videos on YouTube. I tried removing it, but now I'm glad I didn't. And I was like,
you finding this picture?
Yeah, this picture is important. Very important picture. It's coming up. Here we go. All right, you peep the date on that.
Wow. You were a little kid.
I was a little kid.
July 17th, 2008.
That's coming up on 10 years.
You had a nice mic and everything.
That was my first setup.
I don't know if y'all can see that.
I was caddying.
At a golf course, yeah.
At a golf course, because I was like, I didn't want to do any other like jobs.
Saved up all your money.
And bought a laptop, bought the mics, bought the Rockets.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you get Pro Tools or what'd you get?
No, the Cubase had came with one of the interfaces.
Okay, yeah.
I was using free Cubase.
Yeah. You taught yourself how to make beats?
Nah, I tried because I was like, yo, I'm gonna be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You know, like J. Cole said, I'm like the human body. I produce my own shit. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be able to say that. You know. Yeah. But nah, like I just realized, yo, I'm just get good at what I do and leave that to my homies who actually do that. You know.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends. I met a lot of friends in New York that. They were kind of good at like everything, but they never really honed in on one thing.
Right.
And you know, I think it's a shame sometimes.
Those jacks of all trades.
Yeah, you can be a Renaissance man, but you got to get good at one thing first, and then apply that same discipline all the way across the board. You know.
That's sound advice.
Yeah, but that's harder than.
Do you remember your first time hearing a rap song?
8 Mile.
What is it?
8 Mile.
Oh, 8 Mile.
8 Mile.
That was your first experience with rap music?
That was first experience knowing that was rap.
Yeah.
And before I saw the movie 8 Mile, I must have heard rap music.
Yeah.
But it just because language barrier. Well, no, I just mean like I must have heard it on the radio or cars driving by. But because I had never been told this is rap music and never registered, I probably never heard it consciously. You know, like, but when I was watching 8 Mile, I was like, oh, this is oh, this is a form. Oh, this is called hip hop. Oh, this is rap. Oh, okay.
So was Eminem like the first artist that you were feeling?
Oh man, yeah. Like he was like the first and the only artist for maybe like 2 years.
For 2 years, wow.
I had gone to school with do-rag. I had like Shady Limited shirt. This is middle school. Yeah. Like kids were teachers were, guidance counselors were calling out my parents like, yo, is Bohan like okay at home?
Yeah.
Like,
why has he got a wave cap on?
Yeah, he's coming to school with like. And I was a fan of Allen Iverson too.
Yeah.
So I was going to school with like one long sleeve cut off. Like, I remember this kid Mike Vaglica. He was like a basketball player. He came up to me and was like, "Yo, you're a pimp." And I go home and tell myself, I was like, "Yo, this kid at school called me a pimp."
Right.
And I was like, "What? Like, what do you call you?" But
That's
so Eminem was like, you know, I knew every one of his songs.
Yeah, and at that point you had a lot of back catalog to track. You could go all the way back and work your way forward, huh?
Yeah, crazy. And like it was in his back catalogs that I found who he was listening to.
Yeah.
And I started listening to those people. You know,
the Outsiders,
the Pacs,
okay,
the Outkast, the Andres. You know, like then every time he would drop a name, all right, let's see who this is. You know what I mean? Like,
you know, I didn't used to hear it when I was young, but you know who one of Eminem's biggest influences is?
Who?
Redman.
Oh yeah, I actually saw a video today of that. Redman was talking about like Eminem big up me as one of his favorite rappers.
And you know what's crazy is that I grew up loving Redman as well.
Yeah,
like that was one of my favorites. Dirty Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, rock, word is born. But like I didn't really hear the influence back then.
Yeah.
And now when I go listen to like the Shady LP or whatever, I'm like, oh, this is totally like Redman. Yeah, you could hear it for sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, Brick City. So who else are you feeling like that? Eminem just took you across the board. All of his influences. Who was the next one you really latched onto before it became J. Cole?
Pac.
Pac. Yeah.
Because I realized Pac was like He preached about being a well-rounded person beyond just like an artist, you know, and like, because this was me before really understanding the black and white context of America, you know, and I'm hearing his music and I'm hearing a lot of pro-black, you know, that's like what made me look back on like started looking up history before even learning it in history class and stuff, you know, like, so. Yeah, like just to see how he transformed, you know, and I was like, this is like, he stands for something that almost like I want to stand for something. You know, I don't have anything as big as something that he stood for, you know, but like, it was like a combination of Em being just nasty and then Tupac being just like so cool, you know, as a person, you know, like I remember like, I was like, you know, he was, whether it was black people, white people, whatever, like he was able to just talk to him, you know, because he was himself, you know, and one thing like that really affected me that he said was, you know, he's like, for me it's even more obvious because I'm a Gemini. He's like, but everyone has this two sides to them, and it's the people that only show you the one side all the time you should be aware of. You know, like if your homie like loves you and then all of a sudden throws a fit, it's cool, that's him, you know what I mean? You know, you got to be there for him when he's like that too. But if someone's just showing you one side all the time, you gotta beware because he's scared to be him around you, you know.
And so who's he being when you're not around?
Yeah, you know, that was something that stuck with me and it really helps me, you know.
Yeah, you know, you just kind of subtly touched on an interesting point that me as like a really observant rap fan has noticed. You talked about the subtext in America about how things are very like black and white, race related, and hip hop. You know, a lot. You could look at it as it started as a response to that, as a very political thing at first, and it stemmed from, you know, really disenfranchised poverty in New York in the 80s or the late 70s. Do you think, as an Asian hip hop artist, that sometimes rappers that aren't from America or haven't lived in America sometimes lose that context and almost I've noticed with some Asian rappers that there becomes some elements of caricature sometimes where they do what they think rappers would do and it almost kind of comes off inappropriate.
Yeah. So I had this was a self-conflict too, because going back to China and seeing all these rappers, you know, with dreads and like dropping like certain words, you know. And at first I was like, yo, y'all are whack for this, man. Like, you guys need to do the homework. You guys need to... And then I realized, you know what? If I'd never lived in the States and this thing permeated over the internet, and it just made me feel so cool. And I just love the hairstyle. I love everything from the way they dress. So, and I have no history of where it comes from, but are they held accountable to do the same, to know the same stuff as I do, who like lived there, right? So that was something I really had to think about, because hip-hop at the end of the day just makes you feel cool, and if that's why they started rapping or started looking the way they did, because it empowers them to feel. I was like, yo, that's nothing wrong with that, but to me personally, I still rather they do the homework and know the history. Right,
because imitation is the highest form of flattery. Don't get me wrong. So it's like clear that they have a passion for it. Yeah. But there are certain acts where, like you talked about hairstyles, or like or whether it be like a caricaturized, diamond grill or whatever. To a certain point, it's like the next step after imitation is the true respect in doing the homework and understanding like where the culture is rooted in. Right. And it's like self-expression. Because we're guests in this culture. You know what I mean? It's a black art form. You feel me? For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. And for me, not to say I'm like in any way better. Right. But I had gotten over that imitation phase years ago. Yeah. When I sounded exactly like exactly like Pac, when I was talking like Biggie, when I had baby, like, the way in the bars, I mean? I didn't know I was biting really. I was just like, yo, this is what's hot to me. So I had gotten over that imitation phase. That's why I started working in Asian elements into my music, working in Chinese with my music, working in like subject matters, of immigration, all that. Because I realized, all right, maybe this will takes time slower to catch on, but this is what people need versus then like what people want to hear. You know what I mean? It's like, so like when people do resonate with me, it's at a heavier, it's at a much deeper level than like when they resonate with like my songs like overseas and stuff like that, which is like the subject matters I want to touch on. It resonates at a deeper level than like a turn up song like Jala, So, but yeah, so I mean another thing I was thinking about talking about this Asian being, we'll just use a specific example of hip hop rappers, Chinese rappers. I thought about, I was like, if I were to, and I don't know if this is a right or wrong thought, I was like, if I were to like complain about, oh man, yo, Chinese people don't have enough representation in the media over here, it's like, how come there's only just black and white artists, mainly, predominantly, how come black people's gotten their share, like what about us, And I was like, all right, if I was on the other side, whoever the other side may be, they're like, okay, well, I don't know why you're trying to compete here. Like, you have your own country. Like, China's doing great. Why are you trying to get, your money here? Like, we can't just say that to black people. We can be like, yo, just go back to your country. Like, first of all, like, they didn't, what I'm saying? There's a different.
So it's like, are we even, and on top of that, some people will call it, we're appropriating black culture, right? Right. So, it's like, you think about where you're starting from, and so when you start thinking about that, you're like, okay, maybe none of that shit matters. Maybe what matters is just who is making the better music. Yeah,
for certain. I think that as an artist, I mean, like you look at me, I was a white rapper. That's appropriation in and of itself. I think where you can start getting into...
But do you think it's appropriation though?
Here's what I hear.
You wouldn't call it that.
Here's what I'm going to say is that I don't feel as though I was appropriating black culture, because I was participating in a respectful manner, and I was 100% trying to be myself and not trying to be what perhaps people would deem like stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't trying to do an imitation. I was doing myself and using that
medium. You were expressing yourself with that medium,
art form, which I love with, which I'm in love with, and which I respect so much that I didn't want to like disrespect it or ever come off as an appropriator. And I feel like that's what you're trying to do as well, because I have noticed in your videos, like I don't see you making those mistakes that some Asian artists make. You know what I'm saying? And it is easy particularly as an Asian artist, like who's not from America, to like come over and accidentally appropriate and not even realize it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So yeah, for sure. It's a touchy subject, and I would say that the people who are doing best at it are the ones who, like you, are just trying to be themselves, and not trying to be anything beyond that. And
it's like, another comment on the appropriation thing. Like if we're gonna if there's, because there have been, I've seen comments online, less on my stuff, but more on like other Asian people's, Asian artist stuff. And it's like, oh, you guys, just trying to be black, you guys rapping the way you dress, you guys are appropriating black culture. And I just want to say, like, if we're having that conversation, we have to address Wu-Tang being the first Asian rappers. You know what I mean? Like, Wu-Tang been appropriating Asian culture since day one, to make their music. But that's if we want to use the term appropriating. What if, to me, that's like beautifully adopted, like.
It was homage, I would say.
Yeah, it's like we love you. It's like culture's supposed to be fluent.
Right.
Culture exchange has been happening since the Silk Road, when you know what I mean? Like, so to me, the whole culture appropriating concept is like, it really comes down to the intentions behind what the actions. You know? Like, to someone, I'm a culture appropriating. I can't. If that's like what it is to them, that's what it is to them. But to someone else, like
Well, my hope is that in opening up dialogue about it like this, where you can see someone's true intention, that it helps to understand. It helps you understand where they're coming from.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And like the fact that you grew up between Massachusetts and New York, and were in it. I mean, you're in Harlem. You're doing the work. You're taking the steps. You know what I'm saying? Like. You clearly love the art form, and I think you have an innate respect for it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you start when you start really working towards it in 2008, right, and you start making songs, you put them on MySpace.
Oh, I wasn't really working towards it. That was just when I,
That's when you got the mic and shit.
I got the mic and shit.
So when you're in college, how about that? Like, when do you notice that it's starting to pick up a little bit?
It really didn't start picking up until I graduated college and started incorporating more Asian elements into myself. Because before that, I was just, even though I wasn't imitating style-wise, I was still imitating just by rapping only in English. I was like...
And you were probably trying to be just like a New York-ass rapper.
Yeah, bro, I had bars, bro, you know what I'm saying? I was like coming at people's necks for no reason. People was like, why is he so mad?
You battling and shit?
Nah, but I just had like bars. Like, like...
How many times in New York did you get called Jin?
Never got mistaken for Jin, but comparison wise,
that's what I'm saying. Like people, you think you're Jin or something? Yeah, because that's kind of the only reference point.
No, they wouldn't say. They'd be like, yo, you know Jin?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, who that? And they were like, you know Jin? I was like, of course I know Jin.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, so I think after I graduated and I started adding more Asian elements into my shit, people starting to catch on. Because before it was just all English.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't really have a Chinese accent.
Yeah.
So I'm writing a song, I'm putting it out there, and people have no idea that I'm actually Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
So they're listening to it, and my identity is just, But yeah.
So once you take that step of like actualizing who you are in your music, you notice that it starts to pick up and people are starting to feel it.
Immediately. Yeah. Like at open mics, at like the small like showcases, like for example, I would do a whole song in English and then maybe I have 4 bars of Chinese in there, and I'll get off the stage. People come and be like, yo, I have no idea what you said there.
But that part was wild.
That was the best part.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I said, and it's like, nah, it's cool. Like, it's dope what you said, but I just mean, it sounds good. So I got more comfortable experimenting with just like, maybe like, I've never had to say, I need to learn Spanish to like enjoy this Spanish song. Like the vibes is there, the feel is there. I said, let me see if people can just feel the Chinese part. And it worked.
Right. So. That's great, man. And so what's been happening in the last few years as the career picks up, like touring, meeting other people that are in the same realm as you, linking up with like cats from 88 Rising, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just take me through it.
So 88, when they started, so I had met Hire when I was on tour in China, and I was managing them, and then I signed them to 88.
Oh, you were managing them?
Yeah, because 88 had nobody that spoke Chinese in the company when they started off.
Yeah.
I could go in all day about 88, but I'm not gonna. But yeah, so...
Did you guys hit it off? You and Hire hit it off instantly, or what?
Yeah. They were part of a bigger group in Chengdu, and then there were the younger cats, and they branched off, and they said, fuck boom bap, we're gonna do like what's hot right now.
Right. Because
have some fun.
You guys rap in a very modern way, using triplets and everything. Yeah.
So they were...
they were doing boom bap before?
They were doing boom bap before. Yeah. So...
when you started, were you doing boom bap as well?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure. And I'm still kind of like half and half,
as someone who grew up writing strictly to 4/4 tempo, you know what I'm saying? Trying to learn to write in triplets.
Yeah.
You know, people don't understand how fucking hard that is. That pattern is difficult, and it's really technical.
It's more to me. I like right now the songs I'm working on, like there's like 3 boom bap songs, and then there's like other stuff, you know. And I'm working on I just made a 10-song album back in New York, so all live funk shit, you know.
Oh, sick.
But to me, like trap is impeccable rhythm. It's like the timing. Yeah. Timing is super dope.
Because what people that don't rap don't understand is like when you're rapping 4/4, you're rhyming all your consonant, or I mean your vowel sound. So it's like I was going to that, you know, so it's I, sky, wide, you know. And with the triplet style, you're rapping consonants. It's a totally different tempo to pick up on, but it's also using different words in the language. It's like using a whole different subset of words, you know, like shorter syllables.
And for me, I find like boom bap or like more like, you know, stuff pre-trap, right, is more just waist up, you know what I mean, like but like trap is almost like punk, you know, you're jumping up and down, it's like it's a different type of, you know, energy, you know. But yeah,
okay, so anyway, Higher Brothers, my bad.
Oh yeah, so the last couple of years I was helping ADA, you know, build their Chinese foundation. I myself have gone back a lot more and then eventually moved back. My first time going back to China to perform was 2015.
Yeah, how was it?
It was fucking crazy. Yeah. It's like me and like 4 homies, and we went back to Beijing, like 400 people show. I didn't even know there were that many people that liked hip hop, you know, like in Beijing, you know. So we shot 2 videos. We spent like 9 days there. I was like, wow, like that really opened my eyes, you know. But I'm New York, you know. And in 2016, I went back in the spring to tour, I went back in the fall to tour, and I went back in the winter time. And then, like, I was like, okay, like, there's a lot of momentum out here. I'm glad I have something I can do out here. Then 2017, before June alone, I went back 4 times for different festivals and shit. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I can't, you know, I should just move back here. Yeah. So basically, that's what happened. So the last couple of years, a lot of self-discovery in terms of sound. Yeah. Met a lot of great people that I'm excited to keep working with. Yeah. And just to me the last couple of years was just setting the, you know, the foundation for what I want to do. What
have you learned about music consumption in China versus music consumption in America? Like, how do people find out about you over there?
Yeah, so out there is no tastemakers, there's no faders, there's no Pitchfork, there's no Spotify playlist, there's nothing curating something and like telling you this is what you should listen to. And if it's not on this playlist, it's probably not worth your time, you know, because that's what's happening out here. Totally. Right? So out there is super democratic. Everything is cell phone. So there's this app called WeChat, which everyone uses out there. So 1.4 billion people, there's a 95% penetration rate. You know, there's like nothing like that out here. 95% penetration rate, you know. It's like, so everyone uses that, and that's how everybody gets discovered everything. And it's like on a
so you get if you get like a placement on WeChat or something, or like how does that work?
So that's not even what I mean. Like people just
they're just chatting.
Demographic, send it. Yo, we found this song. Check it out. You know, check it out. There is starting to be some like pages, like WeChat pages, Weibo pages, where people are making lists and all that. But mostly it's still just a democratic free-for-all.
Just word of mouth.
Free-for-all, yeah. Wow. Like, I just started doing music back there a year and a half, 2 years ago. And, you know, just through word of mouth, like, every show we got at least 400 or 500 people. Yeah. You know, it's going to take me a while to do that here. Yeah. You know? But also, another reason why is because people here have been so oversaturated. You know, the fans, we've had shows forever. We've had hip-hop forever. But hip-hop just starting to take over in China. People are just starting to learn how to go to shows.
And so you guys are like pioneers over there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like super exciting time. You know, as much as I love being in the States, I'm out there just because it's never going to happen again like this, you know.
And have you noticed... Have you noticed it taking off in other Asian countries besides China as well?
Definitely.
Where else are you popping? Yeah.
Japan have been open to the West for a long time. Yeah. You know?
Oh, I mean, Japan loves boom bap hip hop.
Yeah, exactly. They love boom bap, and like Japanese culture have been over here forever. Yeah. You know. So Japan has already had this thing popping before China. And Korea had K-pop, you know. I don't know if you're familiar with K-pop.
Yeah, a little bit.
So K-pop is fucking humongous.
Yeah.
Like, so they had that, but Korean hip-hop is starting to pick up as well.
Yeah.
And then, the markets in Singapore, Thailand, Manila. Like, when I was touring on Southeast Asia last year, there's so many rappers out there and so much good music.
Yeah.
And,
well, so, like, if you tour in Manila and you're rapping in English and Chinese, are people that speak Tagalog, like... Well, they don't care, or
so
they just
Manila's like different. Everybody, so English is the first language in Manila, so everyone speaks English there.
Okay, yeah.
So like one place I was nervous to perform was Tokyo. You know, Japan and China has this really savage history, you know, during the wars, you know. So I was like, damn, like if I'm on stage in Japan, like saying all this Chinese, is it gonna be awkward? You know?
Right.
It was all love.
It
was so cool. Like, so. Yeah, there was. Yeah, that's.
So it's just catching on. Period.
They're just catching on, and I think that's the best thing about music. If I was up there like giving a presentation about China, it might be more stiff than like, you know, playing music. Music, I feel like that's the best thing about music. It breaks down everything else.
Right. With rap music just starting to catch on in China, I mean, is that a cultural shift in general? Is China opening up more to the Western world, or like, I mean, can you explain why it's taking off now?
So rap is taking off right now.
Yeah,
but rap has been in China for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah.
This is actually this dude named Showtime, Dana Showtime from Detroit. He went to China in 1999 and started an underground battle culture for only Chinese kids, and he didn't speak Chinese, so he's on stage. So these videos of him on stage 1999 2000, you know, saying, you motherfuckers, if you guys like this motherfucker, I want you to make a motherfucking noise, motherfuckers. You know, and then there's a Chinese guy like translating that as best as he can, you know what I mean? Like, but like that battle started in 2000 called Iron Mike, and it still happens to today.
Wow.
Like crazy. And they had hundreds of people, you know, like, and so hip hop has been around for a long time. But last year, this is a TV show called Rap of China, and it took it to the mainstream.
Oh,
it had over 2 billion viewers.
Holy cow!
So immediately, like, kids were like internet rappers, and then this guy PG1, right? He went from a nobody to making over $100,000 a show.
Wow.
And then because he had gotten into some trouble, and then like the government shut him down, now he's like in debt for like a lot of stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, that's how fast hip hop blew up.
Yeah, just because of the TV show.
Because of the TV show.
Yeah, wow.
And and
so it just reached areas that it might not have reached before.
But my aunt knows what hip hop and all this.
Yeah.
And the thing with this show is like, it was great because it spread the culture so wide in China.
Yeah.
And you know, it was good for me, even though I wasn't on the show, because a lot of promoters just wanted to all of a sudden do hip hop events.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a lot more opportunities.
Let me think.
Yeah.
You spoke earlier about being kind of reluctant to incorporate your culture into your music at first, right?
Yeah.
And like we spoke about, one of my closest friends, Dumbfounded, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've known him since he was like a 17-year-old kid that was rapping and freestyling everywhere, right? And it was kind of the same thing where he said, hey, don't look at me like I'm a Korean American rapper.
Yeah.
Just look at me like I'm a dope rapper.
Yeah.
And then as time got older and he got more comfortable with his culture and more comfortable with himself as a person, he started to incorporate some of that Korean culture into his rhymes. And then it helped take off more. Did you have that same kind of conflict when you first started? Like, don't look at me like I'm Chinese. Just look at me like I'm a dope rapper. Do you think that part of you incorporating your culture into the music was a personal growth where you were able to accept who you are more?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, man. At first, it's like, I wasn't sure if I don't remember now if it was an insecurity thing, or at first it was just like, nah, like I'm, you know, like, don't label me that, you know, like, 'cause I'm trying to compete, you know, like, blah, blah. It was like, you know, I remember Fader had put out an article. It's like, Asian rapper, blah, blah. I was like, yo, y'all wouldn't do this for Kendrick, like, black rapper. Y'all wouldn't do this for Posty, like, white rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so why are we doing this? And then I started to realize, you know what, like, at some point, it's necessary to, especially when there's not enough there yet. There's not enough Asian rappers there yet. I need to be labeled Asian rapper. People needs to see like, oh, yo, there's stuff out there. You know what I mean? If it's a clickbait, so be it. Whatever it is gonna bring more
just open it
cause,
up.
You know, like so yeah, that's definitely something I had to accept. And like at first I was like, no, it's corny when you just like, you know, because okay, the thing is it was more of a fear because I didn't want to be locked in as like, oh, just a Chinese rapper for Chinese people, you know what I mean? Like but at the same time, you do need that representation.
Yeah.
At first.
I mean, that's the thing. I think it kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier because with Dumb, it was kind of the same thing where he didn't want to be just labeled the Asian rapper because he thought it was corny.
Right.
And I think that when you have that innate love for rap music and that innate love for the hip hop culture, it's like you don't want to cheat.
You just want to compete. Yeah, you want
to be in the actual conversation. You don't want to be like, oh, that's the Chinese rapper.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
So,
well, hey man, what's next?
A lot of new music coming out.
Yeah.
On July 18th, when it's 10 years from that photo, I'm dropping a new song.
Nice.
And on my birthday, July 24th, I'm dropping a new song.
Yeah.
And a new video. So just a lot of new music. I'm still trying to figure things out.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Over there and over here. And but for me, it's like you said, like I've learned to able to step back and enjoy the now. You know, so I've been able to like realize, like, to say, okay, this is the part that's enjoyable, figuring shit out.
Yeah,
you know
man.
What I mean? Like, so
we're gonna look back at these years like they're the best ones of our life.
Bro,
you know, so you gotta enjoy them while you're in them. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, man. It was a really fruitful conversation. Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Tell the people where they can find you online.
Bohan Phoenix, Bohan Phoenix. That's across the board.
That's Twitter, Instagram, everything. No underscores, no nothing. There you go.
Spotify, all that.
Hit him on WeChat.
Hit me on WeChat.
You feel me?
You know, all that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man.
Tell the people thank you in Chinese or something.
Hey, 谢谢你们的关注.
There you go.
Appreciate y'all's time.
I fuck with that. My name is Lee. Some of you guys might know me as Intuition. You can follow me on Twitter at It's Intuition. Remember to subscribe to You Feel Me on Skullcandy's YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast app. And also follow Skullcandy on Twitter at Skullcandy. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you, man. That was Bohan Phoenix. I'm Lee, and this was You Feel Me. Thanks for tuning in to You Feel Me. If you want to hear more, go to skullcandy.com/music. Want a pair of headphones like the ones we used for today's episode? As a special thanks to our listeners, we're giving you 30% off your next Skullcandy order with the promo code MUSICYOUCANFEEL. That's MUSICYOUCANFEEL. Subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app now to stay up to date on our latest episodes.